When selling on Amazon, do I need business insurance? And if so, what kind of business insurance do I need? That's what we're discussing in today's video, so let's get into it. Welcome to the channel today. Welcome back if you're a returning visitor. Thank you for your support as always. If you're a new visitor, my name is Ben. I'm a full-time brand builder, founder of brandbuilderuni.com, where our goal is to help you build a brand you own and a life you love. And I hope that you're having a great day. We're discussing insurance today because recently Amazon has been emailing sellers, particularly in the US, asking for proof of insurance. And it's become a highly discussed topic, and people are wondering, well, what kind of insurance do I need to be able to sell on Amazon? And I wanted to try and answer or give some insight around some of the main questions that people are asking. Before I do that, a little bit of a disclaimer. I'm not a legal expert or an insurance expert. These are my own personal findings as I navigate this journey as a business owner that I'm sharing with you, and you should definitely do your own research and speak to an expert in the field of insurance. And I'll leave a couple of links below of people that I've used or been recommended to that you can definitely check out and have a discussion with. But the main questions, of course, number one, the first question is, do I actually need insurance to sell on Amazon? Now, this is a little bit of a gray area because Amazon haven't actually policed this aspect of selling on Amazon really ever. The terms of service in the US state that if you hit $10,000 in a month-long period in the US or 3 consecutive months in Canada and Mexico of $10,000 a month, then Amazon will require you to present your insurance or a proof of insurance. They haven't really even policed that, but as of late, they have been emailing what seems like all sellers that are selling in the US marketplace asking for their proof of insurance. Now, what likely will happen, what happens most of the time with Amazon, is that will now be rolled out across different marketplaces to different sellers in different locations, because Amazon really are clamping down on this idea of having insurance when selling on their platform. Of course, they leave themselves very open to litigation, open to legal costs if they are having to take on all of this themselves. And really, I think they are preparing themselves to try and make more of a shift towards the seller of the product being liable for any damaging things that might happen. And so we have to be prepared for the fact that Amazon will police this a lot more. The question, of course, do I need it, is a little bit of a gray one. The other question that you need to ask yourself is, should I have it? My personal opinion is unequivocally, yes, you absolutely should have insurance for your business. It's just not worth the risk. Some people would say, well, I don't really have high risk products. Do I need to have insurance to cover my products doing damage to anybody else? And the question is not necessarily the risk of the products. The question is the risk of the people. People are people, and unfortunately, we live in a world where people are always trying to get one up on the system and trying to make some money from somewhere, and not always in the most honest of ways. I mean, I've heard stories of people making claims for liability based on them tripping over a box that the delivery courier had left on the doorstep outside the house, and they'd sued the brand owner of the product that was inside the box, having just tripped over it's insane, right? So the question is not whether my products are risky, it's just whether will people find a way to find some kind of damage, potentially, if I stretch my imagination, to be able to make a claim against me. And if they could, then it's well worth getting covered. For me personally, I think the cost of getting covered by insurance is worth the peace of mind that you can have when selling on Amazon, regardless of your product type. Think of any example. An item of clothing might, someone might claim it causes skin irritation. Something super safe, like a mug. You might drop it and it cracks and it cuts your skin, or anything can happen in this crazy world we live in. So it's better to be safe than to be sorry. So then, of course, the question comes along to what types of insurance are there for Amazon sellers, and what do I really need? There's 3 main types of insurance that I believe that you should be considering. Number one is a general or public liability insurance. This is what's stated in Amazon's terms of service, a general liability. In the UK, where I'm from, we would call that more public liability. And this is about, what you do or say as a business, is about the liability, across your business as a whole. And so that is the first type. The second type is product liability insurance. So that's about ensuring the impact of your products, what danger might happen, any damages that might happen because specifically of your product. And thirdly is inventory coverage, is insuring your inventory. Now, Amazon, number one, don't care about your inventory coverage, so they're not going to police that. Number two, your inventory that's stored at Amazon FBA warehouses is covered by Amazon's insurance policies. The only thing that you need to consider with inventory insurance, number one, is your inventory covered by your 3PL. If you're storing at a 3PL, and you need to specifically ask them and check with them, are our goods covered by your insurance for fire, theft, damage, that kind of thing? And if they're not, you need to make sure you include inventory coverage on any insurance policy you have, because it would be obviously devastating to lose all of your inventory because of natural disaster or a theft at a warehouse or anything like that. And then of course, if you're storing your goods at your home perhaps, then you want to make sure that's included either on your home insurance policy, which is very unlikely that home insurers would allow you to have business goods covered on your home insurance policy, and therefore if not, then you need to make sure again that is covered in your overall insurance policy. So back to the other two, you've got general liability and product liability. Those are the two that I would recommend getting. We have a combined policy that covers both of those under one sort of section, and I would highly recommend getting that. You can also have employer's liability insurance if you're employing people, whether you need that and how you classify your employees and what that covers. Again, that's something I would definitely speak to an insurance expert about. But for Amazon's sake, for being able to provide proof to Amazon, which they're starting to mandate in America and probably going to mandate across other marketplaces soon, is going to be your general and your product liability cover. The next question is, when do I need it? When do I need to start with this insurance? Obviously, Amazon have in their terms of service, once you hit $10,000, you need to provide proof of it. However, again, it's a bit ambiguous because it doesn't say you need to have the insurance, it's just the proof of it. And so, but it also doesn't say that you absolutely need insurance. As far as I've seen, at least in the terms of service, happen to be proved wrong in that if it's changed or if I've missed something there. So it is a little bit of a grey area. But again, personally, I would say from the moment you sell your first product, you want to have an insurance policy in place, because you just never know, right? And you could say, well, I've got an LLC or I've got a limited company, so I'm protected. But that only protects you from personal liability. It doesn't protect your company from being sued, and your company finances being destroyed by any lawsuit if you're not protected by insurance. So I would say the safest bet is definitely to have insurance from the moment you start selling. And remember, in my personal opinion, there are no safe products, because it's not about the product, it's how it's actually used. And people are people, you never know what can happen. So I would highly recommend talking to someone about getting some insurance. Finally, the biggest question I think for a lot of people, of course, is, well, then how much is this insurance going to cost me? Like, my bills are high, it's another cost to think of. How much is this going to cost? Well, in my experience, is not a particularly prohibitive expense. It is something that is manageable, and I would highly recommend looking into it. But the factors that are going to influence the cost of your insurance are fivefold. Four main ones, then another fifth one we'll talk about. Number one is the product type. Of course, it goes without saying, there are some products that are more dangerous than others. If it's going to be a consumable, something that goes in your mouth or on your body, or if it's going to be used by a pet or a child, those kind of things are going to be generally more expensive. But again, not prohibitive. We sell toys, and I'll talk you through my policy in a moment and to give you a bit of an example. The second thing that's going to affect the pricing of your insurance is going to be your sourcing location. Particularly, of course, we're talking about here your product liability insurance. Your sourcing location, if it's sourced in China, it's going to be more expensive than if it was sourced in the US or the UK, for example. And so that's going to impact it. The third thing is your revenue, your business revenue, how much you're selling. Of course, insurance companies are going to see the more you're selling, the more exposure, the more risk there is. So a policy for $100,000 a year in sales is going to be far less than a policy for $10 million a year in sales. The fourth thing that's going to impact the cost of your insurance is going to be the marketplaces you sell in, whether that's the US, the UK, Europe, wherever it is. You can get worldwide policies, of course, but to give you an example, I was quoted up to £250,000 in sales. We could get a policy selling toys, covering toys, that was £400 for the year, obviously around about just over £30 a month. Whereas if we wanted to expand that into the US and Canada, then we would be looking at around £600, so just over £50 a month. So there's a little bit of a difference difference there when you look at marketplaces. That's because, again, there's more exposure. The US marketplace by nature is a bit more pro-litigation, the American culture. So it really does depend where you're selling and where the insurance companies deem those risks to be. The one thing I would say on that with both revenue and marketplaces and where you're selling and all of this stuff is be honest. Like, some people will try and play down the amount they're going to be selling or the places that they're selling to try and save a little bit of money on that insurance. But I would say there's really no point in paying for insurance if you're not going to be completely covered. You want to rest assured that this money that you're paying, this insurance policy that you have, would cover you in all eventualities, not, I'm covered up until a certain point, but as long as someone in Canada doesn't buy my product, and then I'm screwed, right? You want to be able to sleep at night. You want to be able to build with confidence. And so I would say be honest about what you're doing. And if your business does significantly change, it grows in revenue by a large amount, or you launch into a new marketplace, make sure you do contact your insurer as soon as possible, update the policy. There's going to be no sneaking around it. If there's a claim to be made, trust me, they will find out and it won't be good. So make sure you do be honest and keep them fully updated. And then the final thing that really is going to impact the price is your insurance company, at least mine did anyway. They're going to want to know your sourcing process. They're going to want to know A, where you're sourcing it from, B, how you're verifying that this is a good supplier. They're going to want to know that you're doing inspections on your products to make sure of product quality. They're going to have a bunch of questions for you that's going to really clarify this process so they can understand, are you taking the measures that are going to lead to the best opportunity for safe deployment of these products around the world. So that's the other thing to consider when it comes to the costings. Like I said, for a newer business we recently started, we got a quote for £400 to cover up to £250,000 in revenue for the UK, US, just the UK. And then if we wanted to extend it into the US and Canada, they went up to £600. So I don't know, maybe that's not competitive. If you've got better quotes for that, I'd love to hear some of your ideas. And I've left the details of the insurance company that I use, Crendon Insurance, down in the details below. I'm not affiliated with them. I don't get anything for letting you know about that, but I was very happy with the service, and they're a good company to deal with. Ashley Haddon is another person that I've heard talk about a lot in different Facebook groups and around the community, and I'll also leave her website there for you to check out as a way of comparison. Hopefully that's been helpful for you, breaking down the difference between general liability, product liability, covering your inventory, the three main types of insurance that you're going to want to look at as an Amazon seller. If you do have any questions, definitely feel free to ask them below. But like I said at the start, this is my experience as a business owner. I'm not an insurance expert. These are just the steps that I'm taking and the experience that I've been on. So like I said, I hope it's been helpful. If you have any other questions about selling on Amazon, building a brand online, or want to know anything else, or me to make any videos about any other topics, please feel free to comment down below. And if you want some more resources to help you with selling on Amazon, growing your business online, definitely check out the links down in the description. There'll be a bunch there to help you on your journey. All right, I will see you in the next one real soon.